there. And my question for many weeks or months has been, does this get solved at some point? I mean, like after the 90-day period or after maybe the second 100 days or after the first year? Does the Trump administration at some point bring the certainty that markets and business leaders want?
So we close.
We can always. The reality is that we always deal with uncertainty, right?
And it's
not on these levels.
Today's success secret, author is Brian Tracy. The name of the book is 21 Successful Secrets. So all the new students
really what they want is, as you mentioned, some clarity. And even when they like terrorists, don't like terrorists, they'll adjust once they know the rules of engagement. So, listen, I think the hope is, and really the current administration is that we'll get towards some clarity. I do think the terrorists are going to be, used even well after this, in negotiations and so right. So it's part of what we're going to have to live with.
Load up
Now,
the
the question will
simulators,
become,
which I don't want to
become
continue
more
to
known
plug.
to the day-to-day
Let us continue.
businesses will become,
Success
they'll
secret
continue to
number
adapt. They adapted towards
Take your
after
dreams
COVID,
out
they
of the
adapted
air
after the global
and
financial crisis.
crystallize
Companies will adapt, but it
into
is
clear,
causing a lot of companies in the
specific,
short term to be
written
somewhat
goals.
frozen.
Perhaps
So
the
what
greatest
does this
discovery
mean
in
for the
human
big tech
history
companies? We're
is that you
looking for
become what you
Microsoft,
think
Meta,
about most of the
Amazon,
time.
Apple, the impact
The
they
two
have
factors
on the
that,
markets.
more than anything else,
What
determine what happens
inclination
in life
investors
are what
have
you
to
think
allow
about
them to keep
and how
spending
you
billions and
think
billions
about
of
it
dollars
most,
for capex. At the beginning of the
or
year, this
most
was
of the time.
a rewarded story.
Successful
Is
people
it still?
think about their goals
Yeah,
most
it's
of
a
the
great
time.
question. And
As
as
a
I'm thinking
result,
in
they
our
are
overall
continually
thesis,
moving
we're
towards getting their
again
goals,
somewhat more
and
cautious
their
short term.
goals
And one
are
thing that
continually
really throws
moving
against our
towards
assumptions
them.
is the tech side, because
Whatever you
the
think
technology
about,
sector
most of the
and the
time,
S&P
grows
500
and
isn't the economy,
increases
right? I
in
mean,
your life.
as you all
If
know,
you
we're
are
driving
thinking
a lot of
about,
this talk about big
talking
tech.
about,
One thing
and
that we haven't seen
visualizing
during
your
this earnings
goals,
season,
you
there
tend to
still seems to be
accomplish far,
healthy
far
demand
more than
for
the average
the AI
person
side, right?
who's
I think
usually
what's
thinking and
happening
talking
is that
about his or her
companies need a
worries
bit of a
and
slowdown. There
problems
still has to be
most
AI
of the
spending,
time.
otherwise companies will be left behind. So could we see a kind of a moderation
Here
in
is a
the tech
simple
spending and a little bit of less
7-step
CapEx?
formula
Sure, but in
for
general,
setting
what we're
and
seeing, what we
achieving
expect is
goals
it's going to still be
that you
somewhat
can
a
use
healthy
to
spend
become a deca
in
trillionaire.
AI. One last tidbit, towards
First,
the low,
decide
the
exactly
Mag 7
what you want
went to
in
about
each
22.
area of your
That's the
life,
same level it was around when
especially in your
ChatGPT was launched
financial life.
in November of
Most people
2022.
never do this.
The bigger question right now is that
Second,
E,
number two,
which was
write down your goals clearly
Yeah, when
and
it comes to
specific.
CapEx, really looking forward
Something
to hearing from
amazing
you. Of
happens
course, we've seen
between your
reporting
head
over
and
the
your
past
hand
couple months about them
when you
pulling
put
back
your
on data
goals in
center
writing.
leases. Maybe we'll get some clarity
Third, number
tonight,
three,
Keith. But I want to go back to
set
your
a
overall
deadline for
stance,
each
because
goal.
listening to you speak, reading through your
Set
notes, it seems like
sub-deadlines
you're
if a goal
postured
is
pretty
big enough.
defensively here. And I want
Give
to talk about
yourself
what
a
that
target
means
to aim
in
at.
this market, because defense
Fourth,
used to
number
mean
four,
just piling into mega cap
make
tech,
a
which
list
up
of
until a few
everything
months
you can
ago
think
looked kind of macro-proof,
of
but
that you
now
will
it
have
feels
to
like the
do
story
to
has
achieve
changed.
each goal.
Sure, yeah,
As you
I'll walk
think
you
of
through
more
that. And the
ideas,
way we do
add
guys are
them
going
to
through
the
these periods
list
of
until it
uncertainty,
is
and not maybe
complete.
at this point being as
Fifth,
adequately
number five,
compensated for that risk.
organize
You know,
your
we're
list
looking at
into
accordion.
a
We bring
plan
some of
of
our bets
action.
in, go a little bit small. We have
Determine
raised, as I mentioned,
what you are going
some
to
cash,
do
we're
first
closer to
and what
5%
you
per
will do
se.
later.
And
Decide
then
what is
in the
more
allocation
important
side,
and what is
we brought
less
down
important.
equities a little bit. We still have a
Six,
tilt
number
towards small
six,
cap equities. Earlier this
take
year, we
action
actually
on your
downgraded
plan
small
immediately.
caps.
It is
We're a
amazing
little bit more
how
international than we
many
had before, just
splendid
because of
goals
back and
and
forth.
plans
We've
are
been big
never
bulls of
realized
gold as well as
because of
wholesale on a short-term
procrastination
basis.
and
Just got
delay.
that Burbank got two
Seventh,
strengths.
number
So I was
seven,
waiting for a better opportunity to add
and
here.
perhaps
And
most
then from a sector
importantly,
perspective,
do
because we expect this
something
back and
every
forth to
day that
continue,
moves
we
you
do
at
like
least one
utilities, which
step
is more
closer
defensive. We
to
have
your
our
most
favorite
important
cyclical,
goal.
which is financials, and our
This
favorite growth area
commitment
being
to daily
communication
action
services,
will make
because
you
we
a
expect this kind
success
of choppy
in
back and
anything
forth
you
to
decide
continue.
to accomplish.
What do you think about the Fed?
He
I don't want
is an
to go
exercise
the rest
for
of the
you.
show without talking about the
Take a
economic
sheet
data
of
we got at the
paper
top of the hour, or that,
and write the word
which is coming at
goals
10
at the
o'clock.
top of
It
the
looks
page
like
with
growth is
today's dates.
contracting and
Then
inflation
make
is
a list of 10
accelerating.
goals
Is the
that you
Fed
would like to
still going to
achieve
be able
over the
to
next
cut?
12 months.
We think they will.
Write your
Our
goals
base
in the
case
present tense
is 2 rate cuts this
as
year,
though a
but we
year
also
has
acknowledge
passed
the
and
range
you
of
have
outcomes is
already
pretty
achieved
wide.
it.
You know, when we look at
Begin
this
each
market
goal
move and bring it back to
about
the personal conversation.
Begin
This
each
move
goal
off
with
the
the
lows, the
word
6 days
I
up, the
to make
strong
it
breath that we've
personal to
seen.
you.
Typically, when you look at these type of
By
things a year later,
making
the
out
market
a
has been
list
up
of
and
10
the
goals.
percentage of times it's been
So
up is
10
really high.
goals. For my students, it
Are
has
you
to be
referring to the
24 goals.
slide
We're not
Brett
doing no
thrust
10
indicator?
goals. It's 24
It's
goals.
fine, but that's one of them. Yes, I'm very familiar with that
Okay.
as well. Yeah, part of my background.
Go
is
over the
technical
list
side. So that is
and
all
ask
positive. And
this
normally,
key
if I'm just a
question.
straight technician, but
Which
I'm
one
looking at that, saying
goal
that's a
on
real
this
positive,
list,
and it is.
if
But
I
the one
were
thing
to
right
achieve
now,
it,
when we look back at some of these
would
other
have
signals,
the
you had
greatest
a policy
positive
response.
impact on my
Coming
life?
out of COVID, you had the fiscal and monetary positions
Whatever
come
your
out,
answer
you know,
to that
and then
question,
going back after the financial
circle
crisis,
that
there's more
goal
delayed.
and
You
make
had that
that
coming in.
your number
Right
one.
now, policy is more
Most important
constrained.
goal for the
That's
future.
also why maybe
Set
as
a
you look at this way
deadline,
of the average
make a
person looking
plan,
at the fundamentals,
take action
the
on
technicals, the
your plan,
economic trends,
and do
we're less
something every
bullish
day
than
that
we would
moves
by
you
just looking at that one
toward
signal.
that
Because
goal.
again, we think the
From
Fed is
now
somewhat
on,
constrained
think
in a
and
bit
talk
in a pickle
about
here
that goal
because
all
the
the
economy
time.
suggests they should be slowing
Think and
down. I
talk
mean, should
about
be
how
maybe
you
being
can
more
achieve
aggressive, but they're
that goal.
constrained by that dual mandate
Think
on the
and talk
inflation.
about all the different
Today's
steps
progress
that
faces
you
the
can
challenge
take
of
to make
meeting
that goal
rising
a
demand
reality.
at a magnitude that
This
hasn't been seen for
exercise will
decades. Within
stimulate
the next
your
few years, U.S.
creativity,
data centers could consume
increase your
electricity
energy,
that's comparable
and
to
unlock
its
more and
Our
more
answer is
of your
advanced nuclear
potential.
fuel.
Action
Our production
exercise.
capability can provide
Always
enough
think
power
on
for
paper.
over 16 million.
Sit down and begin
The
writing
U.S.
out
electricity
your
sector
goals
seems
and
to be at an
creating your
inflection
plan
point.
to
It's
achieve them.
important to have
This
solutions that are
exercise
scalable
alone
and
can make you a self-made deca trillionaire. All right, that's an excellent way to start the month. Now that we have established a baseline,
I'm in this incredible vision about
we
how
can
humans and
open
robots will
the
work together.
dealership
We
up
envision a future where
because
robots
we
do
are
the work that's dangerous
trading
and that's exhausting,
on copper
and humans do the
3M.
work that's
So
creative.
please pull
that
up
changes
your
the world.
Baja app
Working
once
with
again.
Monday, we can make
Go
work
to
different, more efficient, safer, better,
commodities,
faster.
go to copper 3M. Based on this data, we're going to be interacting in
Keith
the
Lerner,
market. We
co-CIO
already
and
know
Chief
we
Market
have a
Strategist
general
at Truist. Thank you
consensus
so
of
very
the
much. Matt Miller,
cryptocurrency.
can you describe to me the exact
That we're
So
working
the
with.
slide
So
Brett thrust indicator, which
let's
actually
go
Katie turned me onto through her
and
social media addiction,
let's take a look at
is
our inventory.
apparently when you have
Give me one
positive
quick
breadth at only 40% of NYSE traded stocks, and within 10 days it
Let's
goes
see
to more
what
than
we can put up
61.5%.
today.
According to many people on Twitter, which is a reliable
Media
news source,
auction.
Social media is real life.
19 out of the last
SPP
19 times
Daytona,
that's
take
happened,
that
we've
one
been
off the
up
line.
like double digits, 6 months out and 12
SF90
months out
XX
even more,
Spider,
an
the
average
black
of
one, take
15%
that
and
one off the
25%.
line.
A lot of time on
599
Friday
SA
talking
Aperta off
about
the
it.
line.
Robert not called it
812
silly, so
Competizione off
that's
the
my
line.
Bible now. I will say that you
SF90
feel also
XS
drink.
Sudali, that's the white one with
And
the yellow stripes,
the
take that one off the
Claudio
line.
Sam rule.
Exactly.
So we're
The
seeing
250
indicators
GT, the
broken,
63
but
per state, that one is
Keith
1.9
is a
million.
as well as a
My
CFA, and
price
he had pointed out,
overseas,
In any
we
case,
could do
I know, you're out
5.2
of
million.
touch. We're going to get over into some of the
We
more
could
stocks
deliver that
moving
to your
under
front
the
door.
hood this hour. A lot of earnings. We're going to bring in
You only
Bloomberg
accept
tomorrow, Melinda, for
Bitcoin.
that.
Hit me up on my neck.
Chanel, you also keep an eye on this morning. I'm looking at Weight Watchers. We're seeing shares of the company surging for a
on
second
the
session.
Gmail, baby.
Now, this is after
Cyraxflex at
it's
gmail.com.
partnered with Eli
All I
Lilly
want
to
to do is
streamline
earn the
access to
opportunity to
Zepbound.
earn your
We're seeing a
business.
lot
If
of
I
these
can beat the
consumer
deal,
marketed
let me
brands
earn your
really trying
business.
to delve
And
into
if
the
not, let me
space
point you in the right
of weight
direction.
loss drugs and
I have
management
a
for their consumers. I mean, we
2022
just saw
Ferrari
Hims and Hers
812
making a deal with Novo
Competizione,
Nordisk most recently. But we're seeing
346
shares of
miles.
Weight
This is
Watchers
the
up for
Batman
double-digit
edition.
gains this morning, but also maybe
Matte black,
consumers
yellow
keeping
brake
an eye on
calipers,
Starbucks. We're seeing
hand
shares of
painted
the company
Ferrari
declining,
emblems on the
falling
fender.
about 10% right now. This is
346
after
miles.
the
I
sales
can
of the
do,
company
let's
missed
do 6
expectations. We
million
know that
overseas
after
on
new
this one.
CEO Brian Nichols, who came back, he came to the company
346
back in
miles.
September.
I'm going to put
He's
like
really been trying
another
to
500
revamp the
miles
firm,
on
but he
it.
did
So
acknowledge
let's
that
just say
their
I'm going
earnings
to
did fall
deliver
short,
with
but
about
he really is
812
assuring
miles.
people that
It's an
they are
812
seeing a lot of
Competizione
success
super
and
fast.
progress
I'm just going
behind
to
the
enjoy
scenes,
for
but that
another
doesn't
500,
seem to be
600
enough
miles and then
to convince
it'll be on
investors
the
at
block.
this
Let's
current
go
moment.
6 million
Lastly, I'm
on this
keeping an
one.
eye on Super Micro. They reported preliminary earnings that fell short of
Again, hit
expectations.
me
Of
up on
course,
the neck.
this is super important being that we're kicking off tech earnings today. We're going to hear from Meta, Microsoft, and Qualcomm later after the closing bell, but the company, Supermicro Computers, is citing higher inventory and customers that were really that is the culprit for this sales or for the preliminary results missing expectations.
Unsurprisingly, that is your biggest loser in the S&P 500 right now, along with the great roundup. Now, coming up, Booking Holdings tweaks its revenue outlook due to
I'm gonna
increased
check
uncertainty.
both
We'll speak to
inventories too.
company
I'm gonna check
CEO
both
Glenn
garages to see
next.
where that
This is
car.
Open Next.
All my clients know, do not miss one car page. I'm coming for the car the same day. So this is
Welcome back to Open Interest. A sea of red behind me. Of course, we got that ugly economic data at 8:30. Hyperinflation, negative growth. You can see that expressed across indexes right now. We'll continue to follow that story, but it's time now for our top calls. Some of the analyst action in focus this morning. And first up, Wells Fargo out with a flurry of rating changes in the retail space, setting tariff headwinds and expectations for a mild recession. The firm upgraded Levi Strauss, Canada Goose, and VF, while downgrading Gap, Nike, Partners, and Victoria's Secret.
This one is a trading, but I enjoyed this car for a little bit. 09 Ferrari Scooter Via Spider 16M.
And finally, Airbnb getting upgraded to buy over at DA Davidson.
Probably gonna put another 1,000 miles on this car. I can do 3 million.
All right, so
overseas.
we're going to continue to talk about the travel sector. Booking Holdings
I
going
got
to
a
be added to the
2020
list of companies
488
citing
piece
an
of Spider,
uncertain
the white
future.
one.
Had the company beat estimates
So
on
for the miles,
EPS
I
and
need
room nights sold, but tweaked
let's
its
do 3
revenue
million
outlook
on
due
that
to
one.
increased economic
If you buy both of them, I'll give you the red
Glenn
one for
Fogel,
5 million.
CEO of Booking
You got
Holdings. And
15
Glenn,
minutes.
First off, you're an international
Place
business,
your
right? You're a
big or
global
what
business.
not.
So I
You
wonder
only
if
accept
you
Bitcoin.
see international helping a little bit
15
to offset
minutes.
weakness in the U.S. I was
Starting
looking
now. Let's go.
deeper into Katie's Starbucks numbers today, and I saw that the U.S. is the problem for
Take
them.
that 48 piece
They
off
have
the
a
9,
drop
48
of
piece off the
2%
9.
for same-store sales here, but internationally it's
SF90
gained 2%
Stradale,
for same-store
that
sales. Do
one,
you see
I have
something
a
similar
customer for
with your
that car
bookings?
sold.
Well, look, we were very pleased with the numbers we came out with last night about the quarter. And we did talk, we gave a global sense
See what we
that
got on
travel steady.
tradings.
We're
I put
pleased.
up like
But we're also
2
willing to
tradings.
say that the U.S. is probably lower than other parts of the world. And we gave a regional
Around the
breakdown
same
and
price
talking about
range,
the U.S. is
everything.
growing slower.
These are my program cars. These are
Growing slower than other
like
parts of the world. But we're a very global company. It was
the
interesting to
headmasters. These are like to
talking
build
about us
credit.
tweaking our longer term, our full year guidance.
Let's just do a
It's
quick
just the way
tweak.
people read that, and I wonder if we should have said something a little differently.
Let's stay
Because we
below
come out
200,000.
originally beginning of the year with our full year guidance,
150, 180 around there.
EPS, adjusted EPS. Now, last night we come out with we're still feeling good about this. We're still looking fine, but we recognize the world may be more uncertain. And the point we haven't seen it yet.
Not only did we sell a $38.5 million 250 GTO last Saturday in Kissimmee, in Florida, we sold the Enzo for $16.8 million.
Changes. We haven't seen that yet.
Yo,
And we're very pleased
that's
with the
what I'm
results we put
talking
out
about.
last night.
You're hearing really mixed outlooks from CEOs in the travel industry. You see the cruise lines alone, and you have Norwegian warning about
I'm still
softening
making
demand. You have
money
Royal
off that.
Caribbean saying
That
pretty
shit
much
was a
the
good
opposite
luck
behind
card.
their outlook.
I'm
When
still
you look at
making
the
money off
U.S. in particular, there has been
Very
this
good
worry
card.
about softening
Very
demand. What kind of color can you give around where
That
that's
is very
exactly
nice.
coming from and where people are
Create
going
success.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that last night. And certainly at the
R75
lower
Super
end of the
America,
economic
06,
spectrum, the
4,000
lower
miles
star
on
rated
it.
hotels,
All for the
you
price.
see a little bit worse
I got
positioning
another
there
SF90
than the higher
Spider.
end of the economic
That one
ladder,
just
where
came in
people
as
are
a
still
trade-in.
more than happy to
Let's
go out and
see.
rent 4 or 5-star
308
hotel.
GTS,
And we're
that's
seeing
going
in terms of the
overseas.
length of stay, perhaps at the lower end in the
Another
US.
308
Again,
GTS. This one is the
just
83,
one
but it
part
has
of our
rims on it.
business. We're extremely
812
global.
Competizione, that's 100% for Puerto Rico right there. 84 Flap 12 BBI, that's going to PR. 812 GTS, and down to the Y.
Well, let's talk about how you
SF90
manage around this
Stradale,
uncertain
and now
macro
Vegas.
environment, softening demand in the U.S. What can you do to boost revenue specifically in this region? What levers do you have to pull?
Yeah, you know, one of the great things I've been in this company, I've now been in our company 25 years. I became CEO in 2017, January 1. So I've been around the block a few times. And there have been good times, there have been bad times. There have been recessions, and there have been great boom times. The fact is, when things get softer for the travel industry, we provide a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity for us to provide
360
stuff to our
Modena,
partners,
Challenge,
hotels,
Stradale.
providing ways for
Pull
them
that
to
one
get
off the
whatever
line, that
demand
color.
there is.
It's going to be impossible to get that color overseas. That one is nice. That one can stay. 575M. That's my dad's car. Just take that car to service.
Come up with tools and ways for our
My dad's factor off TR, that one needs service. My shit needs service too.
Whether it's good time, bad time,
Get them service now so I can have them for the summer.
sometimes the soft times
I don't
are
want to
the
drive.
best times for us as a company to
Top
increase our
75
share
for
because the
America.
incredible amount of data that we can use to
GT4
pinpoint
Lusso, that's
where
my
the
aunt's
demand
car.
is
That one
and
needs
how
service.
can our
That's
supplier
35,000
partners
miles.
best
I'm selling her traded in. She don't listen.
You remind me of
I just told her
the
yesterday.
serenity
Trade
prayer,
that
right?
shit in.
You can
Got
only,
36,000
you need to
miles.
recognize the things that you can change and the things that you can't. It looks like you've been doing a fantastic job. I look over the last 5 years, and your stock has returned more than 260%. So absolutely crushing the S&P, which is up only 128%. What are the levers that you want to pull throughout the rest of the year to kind of offset the uncertain business environment? Are you going to be cutting costs, for example?
Service, we can take both of them.
Yeah, so look, I like that chart you showed. I like that to go back when I first joined this company in
I just don't want to
2000.
get
Our
the same
low there
color
was
because my girl is
$6 a
fucking
share.
shit.
Okay, 4,800
As long as we
now.
have different
That's
colors.
800 times. That's over a quarter of a century. Over a 30%
FAQ
gain.
rule
That's
code,
good,
that one, I'm
consistent
going to give away
execution by our team. And one of the things we did do is
4700
make sure
miles. I
we were
don't
being
know.
cost
So
conscious and spending where we should.
I said I
We
already.
actually, before all these things started happening last year, we talked about a program we're going to save $400 to $450 million a year once we got the program fully done through. And we talked even this year alone, it takes time to get this into place. We're going to save $150 million. It's going to be on the books this year. Albeit it's not going to come until the second half of the year, because we haven't seen it in the first quarter. But these are the things that we do, making sure we spend money correctly and our traveler customers. And that's why we're able to achieve over a 30% CAGR for a quarter of a century. That's a good result.
When, as a CEO, how do you feel in this market? Do you feel like it's a moment to batten down the hatches, or do you look around? You have so many brands: Kayak, OpenTable, RentalCars.com among them. With valuations under pressure, do you think maybe, okay, it's time to acquire another brand?
Well, I won't talk about M&A, but I will tell you that bad times can provide great opportunities, and I mentioned that already about getting shares, such, and making investments. A lot of times, I believe people feel a need to pull back because of short-term circumstances. I think that can be a really bad thing to do for the long term. So, as I said, we're always cost-conscious. We're always making sure that we're not spending money wastefully, but we also want to invest for the future.
That may be the one.
Right now, we're coming up with
That one, that car's being restored.
seamlessly, frictionlessly.
That's a
We're
trophy.
being able to provide services to our partners. I mean, just today, Randy, you go to kayak.ai. That's a new Gen AI thing that we put out. Yes, we want to make sure we spend carefully. Just because it may be tougher times does not mean we should stop investing for the long-term future.
All right, Glenn, always great to speak with
We
you.
need
Appreciate your
something for,
time
like,
on
the
this
price
Wednesday.
of
That
a
is Glenn
CO6.
Fogel of
That's a
Booking
good
Holdings. I do want to point out the
comparison.
long-term performance of Booking because I
But
had
for
to check
some
this chart a
reason,
few
this is
times.
taking
Up
so long. This is the only thing I
230% on
don't
a
like.
total return basis over the
takes
past
so long.
5 years. You compare that to the
Put
S&P
this shit on
500,
dealer
really
settings and it's
pedestrian,
just like
102%.
updating inventory,
So
updating
clearly crushing the S&P.
How about this?
Yeah.
360 spiders.
And I'm not correcting you, but I'm pointing out this
That's
goes back
not
25
any
years.
parts
Yeah,
of,
that is
but
an even longer.
Up 919. Well, Glenn said, I wish we could show the chart to back when I started 25 years ago. And guess what? We can.
oh,
The
the
power of the
fucking
Bloomberg
Air Force
terminal.
shit is
You know,
hot,
we're going to
yo.
continue the conversation
Oh,
on travel.
man,
Next
yeah,
hour,
yeah,
Gary
yeah. That's
Sullivan,
what
the
my
CEO
shit
of
right.
Norwegian Cruise
That's my new
Lines,
shit right
will
there.
join us at 10:30 a.m. This is Bloomberg.
2012. It matches my revenue. Very, very well put together. It looks like a remake right there.
This is Bloomberg Open Interest. I'm Matt Miller. Quick check on what stocks are doing. About 25 minutes into the trade, they are down more than 2%. The S&P ending a 6-day winning streak with a real plummet, and the Nasdaq falling even further, 2.3%. It's interesting if you look at what's going on in the 10-year yield. We're coming down, and that's a real reversal because we had seen the yield shoot up after those GDP numbers came in, showing a contraction in the economy, showing acceleration in inflation. Microsoft off almost 2%, Meta down 4%. We're expecting earnings from these companies. And then, Porsche, thank you for putting that there, down another 2% today, and Stellantis down 4%. Stellantis, another one of those companies that's pulling its forecast for the full year. So uncertainty is definitely having its effect, although Donald Trump has put out a Truth Social saying this has nothing to do with tariffs. Coming up in the next hour, Rebecca Patterson shares her investment strategy. Then billionaire Marcelo Clore talks about his new role, and we'll talk to the CEO of Norwegian Cruise Lines. They're going the other way and saying demand is softening. Harry Summer joins us.
On the back foot today, we got some ugly economic data this morning. We'll get some more in just a few seconds. You can see the S&P 500 down by about 2.2%, with big tech leading the declines ahead of earnings as we await for personal income and personal spending data for March. And here it is. Personal income's rising by 0.5% in March. That is slightly ahead of the expectation of 0.4%. You take a look at the personal spending figure coming in at 0.7%, also slightly ahead of expectations. Here, you go down the list, you get some more PCE figures as well. We got more PCE this morning, and now the PCE price index coming in flat month over month for March.
Why we have so many penny?
Katie, let's break down the data with Bloomberg's Michael McKee. It's been a very busy morning, but the March data incorporates a little of what we've seen in tariffs, doesn't it?
As a healthcare CEO, your mind is always on disruption. Now, thanks to PwC's industry edge,
spider,
a system built around patience,
powered by innovation.
If my mortgage lender used Agent Force, powerful Salesforce, a digital agent would have been pre-qualified.
2,000 miles.
Wow. The buyer's lender used Agent Force.
Well, who's the buyer? Hey, bro.
Still not finished with that car.
Still
got stuff like brand new.
Who's open next week? Can see the optional.
Agent Force helps lenders with their finance fiasco.
Ferrari, low miles.
Well, the data are pretty much all about the tariffs today, but the numbers that we get for March on the PCE are good news. These are the rates that the market should be looking for instead of paying attention to the quarterly numbers that we got at 8:30. PCE price index for March comes in flat, 0.00, which pushes the year-over-year number down to 2.3% from 2.5%. And its target is 2%, so we're getting ever closer. The core also flat, which is a kind of a surprise. The year-over-year number there is 2.6%, down from 2.8%, actually down from 3%, because the prior numbers were revised up, and the PCE headline was revised up to 2.7%. And that shows you that there are some revisions that we got to January and February that put us in line for what we got today, because the number we got today for the March numbers is very different from what we saw in the quarterly figures. Quarterly PCE up 3.7%, and the quarterly core up 3.5%. That set off a lot of hand-wringing on Wall Street that perhaps is not justified. Income and spending comes in at better numbers than anticipated, up 0.5%, although the number for the prior month for February was revised down to a 7/10 gain from an 8/10 gain. That's still a fairly strong income or spending number rather, and income's up 0.5% during the month. We're seeing some strength there. So consumers hanging in there. And I want to point out that in the GDP numbers, if you were Donald Trump, you wouldn't be waving this off as not my fault. You'd be pointing to the real final sales to domestic customers up 2.3% because of the distortions I mentioned. If you break it down, consumer spending was 1.8% during
85
better than expected.
Black
Businesses
with
of
sandstone
9.8%. Now, 22.5% of that was
365
equipment. All of that was
GTC4.
pulling forward the tariff buying, people getting ahead of the tariffs,
Crazy
and
right
that
there.
showed in imports. They
That shit right
subtracted
there, Dominican
5%
Republic.
from GDP, while inventories added 2.25%.
No
So
speed
basically what we
limit.
got is a tariff distorted first quarter GDP number, and then the numbers underneath that
Yeah,
are
those shits
better
is fast.
than
Those
we
cars are mad
anticipated.
fucking
So
fun to drive.
if I were the president, I'd be talking
They
up
drive
the
fucking
front,
phenomenal.
talking
Them
down the
shits
report,
drive
even
crazy.
though most people are going to focus on that headline 3/10 contraction.
Well, I'm happy to tell you, Mike McKee, that you're thinking along the same track as Peter Navarro, who said this was the best negative print for GDP I've ever seen. So, genius minds. Michael McKee, thanks so much for joining us there. Let's get to Rebecca Patterson, Counsel on Foreign Relations, Senior Fellow, and former Bridgewater Chief Investment Strategist. Glad to have you in the studio. Thanks
Great
so
to
much
be
for
here.
coming in. Interesting to see inflation get ever closer to the Fed's 2% target. And Minali points out we're now firmly pricing in
Firmly.
4 cuts for the year.